Same thing with the wife. A woman, they couldn't even come to you and say, "Hey, he be beating my ass." It's a rare occurrence because when it's done, you don't have to do it no more. It's not a lot that you don't do it, and if you do it, if that's a chick that need to be disciplined or loved, that's when you cut ties and remove her from the program. I don't advocate for beating women.
You did advocate for it. You said we need to go back there, brother.
Discipline is not beating women.
You said smack them. You said you literally used the word smack them up.
Hard to be the leadership to get the black to get the black community back where they need to be when we got no resources to lead the woman besides persuasive actions, and after a while that fades like every other feeling or emotion. So we doomed.
But when you juxtapose it, there's a thing where if whatever she's fighting for, is it that important? Does it mean that much to you to go out and do life by yourself where you got to start paying bills and shit? Are you ready to stand on whatever your principle is so damn hard that you ready to go ahead? Because it can't be two kings in one castle. But you know what I'm saying? You gonna have to run the show. So if your woman is not on board with you running the show, then obviously, evidently, she want to run her own show, or she might feel like, you know, there might be somebody superior to you, and let her go ahead and find it. But you know, ain't no coming back.
First of all, you gonna pay for her new castle that she gonna run, and it's gonna be another joker to come over there and drop penis in your castle. So that's the thing. Like, what we could do is leave, right? And they say, okay, we read ourselves from the situation, but they use that to turn up on you. So it's a double L. You lost the family structure, the family, and the queen, because there's no resource that you can have to make the family better. And I'm telling you, that's a fact, bro.
I'm only saying the only reason why I disagree with it is because I'm living it right now every day. And I'm not saying that I could speak for the future too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you that one. But what I say is I'm living it right now every day. And so, you know, for me and mine, I lead, like you say, I lead by example. The way that my wife, the way that I think and the way that I perceive the world is how my wife perceives the world. That's how my children perceive the world. My ideas, she has them. Those are my ideas that I have in my head. She has my ideas in her head. So I think there's a certain level of the vetting process, because I always say it like this: how you start, how you finish, especially when we living in a time where there's freedom of choice. I let it be known from the jump that there is no way, no how that we are doing anything except for how I decide we're going to do it. I'm going to have the ultimate say. And if you're not with that, you can go ahead and stop right now. But it's always been in her beneficial interest where her life is better. She's happier. She look around and she's like, man, I like it here. So there's really no incentive for her to want to step out or get out of line on what it is that I'm asking her to do. She look and see everything that I've accomplished, and she bear witness to it all. And there's no reason for her to be like, you know what?
Now you talking about the now, but bro, there's a world there's a world where you can essentially have her in a comfortable place without you, because of you and for you. So if let's just say you want $1 million, well, now I can leave this nigga take 500, be just as comfortable with no provision, and I don't have to listen to his mouth. It's the food stamp trick, but with divorce.
Yeah, but you gotta think. She gotta be able to. She gonna have to think on her own. She gonna have to think. That's what I'm trying to.
If she was thinking,
she got her own problems.
August. If she was thinking, she would have never left you. It don't benefit her to think.
Yes, it do, though.
It don't.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you why. Because the world that she live in right now, where she don't got to do all that thinking for herself, where I do all the damn thinking and do all the heavy lifting, and all she got to do is sit back and chill the way she like it. If she decides to take half and step out, then she gotta stand on when her car go flat. You know what I'm saying? And she got a nail in her goddamn tire. I'm not coming to fix that motherfucking tire. That's your household. That's your car. That's your tire. Go fix that shit.
Your money gonna fix her tire, sir.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not right now. The money ain't the issue. So if she even her having the money, she got to go out there and talk to the fucking mechanic or the tire guy to be able to get the tire fixed. To be able, she don't want to do that shit, bro. She got to put gas in her gas. She don't want to put gas in her car.
You're saying you don't have to worry about what 2K's question because you're saying you're gonna vet it through all the way, right? We hope that this is true for the majority of people, and it's just not.
What
right?
I'm saying is
I understand. I understand thoroughly what you're saying, right? And we want that to happen. You know, my standards are hard and exact. Pause. Right, and they don't even come from me. And even then, right, they still right because they just the construct seems good, and then they start to get right. Then there's people talking, and you can't do what, and things just happen. So we just have to be real about the shit, you know. And simply put, she has to agree every day. If she doesn't agree, there's nothing you can do about it, right? And we want to make you. I think it's important for that woman to believe in you, like you saying.
Yeah, right? and at no point should she be beaten into submission. That's important. Right. I don't believe in beating her into submission. You pimp with your hands in your pocket. This is for disciplining, not for beating a woman. Oh, she want to go, I'm gonna beat her till she don't. No, I ain't with it. Listen, the dough is the dough. This is the program. There's rules, there's consequences, and I follow the same rule for my wife. I can't step out on her and cheat. I'm a high earner and I pay everything. If I cheat on her, there's going to be consequences for me too. So it go both ways. This structure, this is what it looks like. It just sounds harsh.
And August, that's why I agree with you. She gotta believe in you, brother.
I just think the pain of your absence is going to, even if you paying her, is going to do more detriment to her, you know. And if you can allow her to see that, but you know, show her like, you know, my absence don't just exist with, you know, the structure is gone too. So you're gonna have to go ahead.
I know. Remember when he asked the question, he excluded that answer. Remember, he's like, "Hey, don't give me the walkout answer." He's like, "Tell me what you can." That's absence. Why I'm trying to answer in the confines of which he asked the question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dr. G, Tiff, I think the ancestors be like, these niggas wilding.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I wonder if, because Brother 2K said that, you know, he would have consequences as well. I wonder if those consequences include physical assault. Probably not.
Sister, I love you. I love you.
Those who believe that physical violence is the way, they won't work to refine their vetting skills. They won't work to refine how they communicate because they believe that it's easier to just slap a woman around. And this is how, you know, sure, maybe that was the way, because I'm looking in the chat, forgive me for that, Hamp, but there are folks saying, well, that's what granddaddy did. And, you know, how do you think granddaddy? Well, see, you know, perhaps that might be true, but then you begin to create women who are happy to go their own way and then raise daughters who are well educated. So they never have to rely on a man for anything. They have their own money. They have their own assets. So they don't have to take the punishment and physical abuse from men. That's where that divide begins to crack our foundation when we start talking about the importance of family, right? Because no human is going to sit around and be beaten and be physically assaulted by their so-called partner. It's just not going to happen. Not from the man to the woman or the woman to the man. And, you know, I hope women are not trying to physically, you know, engage with men, because that's a lose-lose, but I think it's a lose-lose all around. The other thing I would say is, and I've said this before, we need to be very careful about who we're listening to as we engage in these conversations online, because people have various motivations. Brother 2K, I wish you the best on building your channel. I think you'll probably get a good, healthy amount of subscribers after this performance tonight.
I already
my
got
brother.
a good healthy amount.
Okay.
Yeah, I already got a good healthy amount. Thank you.
And
it's not off the rhetoric of beating women by far. Okay, I'm only here to help. I come with solution and answer. That is the answer. You don't like the truth because you are not on the winning side of it. I get it. I understand. That is the program. I'm not with strong arming. All right. If she don't want to be there, you let her go. I'm not with strong arming. I repeat, but there will be consequences for actions like there is for everywhere else.
So, sister, my sister friend, Dr. G, I concur. I'm just gonna let, as what Hemp would say, is let it marinate. We've heard a lot. I think we all can agree that we see some areas of opportunity to make the ancestors proud. And I think that as you talk about Hemp, and you've kind of been on this, I want to say probably now for the last at least 6 months, even to the point to where you have an account. So I hope you drop the link again of getting ourselves prepared and making sure that we do what we need to do and acting like we understand that we are legitimately in a silent battle. I think that there are a lot of adjustments that we can make as a people, we can make as wives, I ain't gonna do the husband thing, but as wives and daughters and all the other things, there are adjustments that need to be made. I hope that we find and can reconcile a way to make it better. But I'm definitely not gonna be with the physical thing. It's just never been something that I found to be beneficial. You don't beat things that you love. And when you teach and you beat on things, then they tend to not love you back. And that's where some of the problems start. I wonder if we never really talk about when Granny said, go to school, save your own money, don't ever have to depend on a man. That was a lot of what a lot of people got that was from Granny, because she had to depend on somebody else. And when you get to be married by choice because you pick your husband or your husband and y'all pick each other, it's a different type of dynamic. I think it's a beautiful ministry when you find each other and you understand your roles, because there are roles and there is a level of hierarchy. But I'm very grateful that I have a husband that doesn't have to lord over me or beat me, and I willingly submit to him because he's benevolent. I can love on him and not be beaten or made to be small or feel endangered. And he's still all of the man that I need, without raising a voice or hitting me. In Hemp, I think you've seen that in person. So everybody runs their homes differently, and I respect it. I want us to be very mindful that there is a way that some men can lead and never have to be physically abusive to their spouses.
Yeah. Power to the people.
Yeah, there's a
Hey, well, y'all against this, but can you admit that since that went away, women have ran amok, Miss Tiff, Miss G? Can y'all at least admit that
I don't know a woman that was physically abused, that she was half of a woman and half a mother that she should be, because she spent half of her life in fear and she was unable to partner.
So can you answer the question?
She was unable to parent well because she was in fear of her husband. And when a person is in fear, you don't get the best of them. You do not.
Can we get the question answered? Can you agree that since that has happened, since this has stopped in the community, that are women more off in the community now or worse off? It's Tiff.
I just gave you my answer, and I'm from a family where I've seen a lot of.
There we have it.
Those women are better. None of the women that got beat up, teeth knocked out, hair pulled out, some stabbed, some shot. None of them were better mothers, and none of them were better wives. None of them.
And there we have it. The only people we seen walk the street half naked back then was prostitutes. Can't say that now.
Well, look, I think that the way it is right now is a response to what you're describing, dude. You understand what I'm saying? Like they created a movement
to get naked and be
No, in response to being getting their head knocked through the wall. You know what I'm saying? That was the response. You know what I'm saying? So I think that go ahead.
The women that got their heads knocked in, as you say, was never outside like that. It was the women, them women that raised the women not to get their head knocked out are the hoes that's outside naked.
That's what I'm saying. That their response to getting their head knocked in is to raise their daughters to
so has the response been a good one? No,
well, I think that
I can answer that for you. No,
well,
it's been a negative response.
Well, your perspective is that it's a negative response because they not getting their head knocked in through the wall. But my perspective is that it's a negative response because the response to them getting their head knocked through the wall is this shit right here. And so we have to evolve our thinking because we're doomed. Hold on, but we doomed to. I'm gonna say this real quick. We're doomed to repeat the same shit. So I think that now we have to change our whole perspective to be something that they believe in. You know what I'm saying? So it makes us have to be something more.
Listen to what I'm saying. The woman that got knocked in, the woman who got disciplined.
She raised her daughter to a feminist.
Raised her daughter. This daughter here never got disciplined. Now, this same daughter is a whore. She walks outside naked. She has been with several men, and she'll never be married. So, because this daughter here didn't get disciplined, now she's a whore. So you telling me that the man not disciplining her was a better decision for her?
No, I'm saying that the woman that got her head knocked in, she trained her daughter to be a feminist. So she'll never get her head knocked in. That's what I'm saying. So I think say if you
the way she trained her, did a positive reaction come from the way she trained her?
Absolutely not. I agree with that, but I'm saying the response isn't to repeat the same thing, because how the hell you gonna get to knock her head in a wall if she a feminist? She ain't picking no man. She independent. How you gonna do that?
Here's a question I have, August, because I think we were talking one day, and I thought you were saying the best time for black people was when they was the most married.
Yeah,
but the rule of thumb applied at that time.
I don't think black men was knocking black women head in the wall. I think that was a white people thing, and feminists.
No, we were never. Black women, the way they trying to paint it like we were whooping, like you whoop a woman ass.
I don't think it was
I'm trying to understand, right? Because if we're saying feminism was a result of what was happening to the women, that would include black women, right? Or are you saying now speculatively the black? You see, I'm just trying to understand how you reconcile, right? Because you're saying that was the best time for us when the rule of thumb did apply.
It's the
and then
idea.
You're saying the result of feminism is because that was happening to women. So now look, but now we're worse off. So what are you trying to parse? Maybe
it's the idea. So what I'm saying is, as far as the black community is concerned, I don't really perceive black men really like knocking black women head in the wall, especially coming from all of the things that we went through with the Reconstruction, slavery, all that other shit, right? I think that white women, they was getting their head knocked in through the wall, but they started this feminist movement and enlisted the idea that you need to be independent from your man to black women, and that's how that got carried over.
I see what you're saying. I see. You're saying that black women saw the benefit of it, even though they weren't being subject to the similar behavior from their men.
And the reason why
they were coerced into buying into it because of freedom or whatever.
Exactly. And so I'm saying right now, the example of why were we so much more married then? What do you think made black women stay?
There was a consequence.
If they weren't being subject to that type of behavior from the men.
Well, I think they understood. I think that they believed in their men at the time. I think that they understood the value of their men at the time. I think they understood the structure and what men provided outside of just finances. They see, and they look at that man and they believe in who that man is. You know what I'm saying?
Now here's where I need, because Dr. G's nodding. She also just presented an argument of, hey, Make sure you get your own money. Make sure you get your own this. Make sure you get your own that because of what they were subject to. So now I need that to be reconciled so I can understand, because essentially they were articulating that they were taught to be independent, so they weren't subject to that type of behavior. So now we got to understand, where was it? Where is this?
So that brings me back to the idea. You understand what I'm saying? So the idea of feminism was
No. That doesn't bring you
Okay.
back to the idea.
Right.
Because it was in response to what 2K was saying, you see? So Tiff and Dr.
right.
G were responding to what 2K was saying about the physical discipline, right? And so they were saying that type of behavior from men was the reason why women were taught to do for themselves, so they weren't subject to that. That's
Right.
why I was interested why she was nodding when you was talking, because that is not it's not congruent with what you were saying.
It's the result though.
Mm-hmm.
So like if my mom or my aunt or my grandma were subjected to this corporal punishment, right? Then they're raising their daughters in a way that they don't have to be subject to it. The women were they were subject to it. They couldn't leave. They didn't even have the ability to have bank accounts and all these things. We know the things, right? So they had to stay. But they're not going to raise their daughters to be in a situation like that. They're going to raise their daughters to be self-sufficient so they don't have to stay. That's where the breakdown becomes with the family structure.
But you got to stay. But see now it's unfair though, because you immediately responded to what he said with that. Right now, August offers something different. Now it's being added in. That's why I was kind of confused when you were kind of. I just didn't
give the nuance like August did. He broke it all the way down. He named it.
I know, but it was. So you don't even believe that the women were treated like this by black men?
No, I do believe it. I know women in my
August,
family.
You see my conundrum.
I understand what you're saying.
That's what I'm
I don't have. I don't. I need you to break it down for me because I don't understand it. I'm speaking from. I was speaking to what to.
So Ms. G, what I'm saying is, let's say you was a track star and your coach made you run 5 miles every day and you hated it, but the results was you won. So your daughter has now came up in the world and they're going to train under that same coach. And you say, hey, I don't want you running 5 miles every day, but now they're losing. At what point do you flip the switch and say, okay, listen, I might have didn't like the method, but it worked and we want to win. So when do we go back to that method? Because it was the winning formula.
It wasn't the winning formula. Did you not understand that women can have bank accounts since 1972?
Hey, Tiff, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So you denounced the color purple notion.
What do you mean?
You denounced that. A black man being depicted like that. You denounced that.
No, I don't think it's fair at all.
Okay. Dr. G, you denounced that black men were doing that to black women.
No, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I don't think that's
right. I know everything isn't absolute. I'm saying overwhelmingly it didn't happen.
Right.
You guys agree with that?
I think overwhelmingly it didn't, but it happened. And so here we are.
For sure.
Can I say this real quick?
Hold on. Hold on. So overwhelmingly means a large majority.
Right.
That it didn't happen. But you're saying that minority is the reason for where we are now?
In addition to the things that August added with that being an incentivized with feminism. So it's happening for one group, so they're in, and then here's another group that perhaps is not happening for, but they see the incentive, so now they're in.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what I didn't say.
The bank account, the right to vote, all that shit. Yeah.
And that's the part I didn't say to 2K. I just cut to the chase. But August went back and broke it all. He laid it all the way down.
Here's what we want to, here's what we just, because remember we were saying about being responsible, and I think there's a whole lot of stuff we be responsible of. I just adding it together, I can see it better, but initially I'm like, okay, boom. But so you think the majority of the women just fell into what August was saying, though?
I think it's a piece of it. So my mom is one of 8, and it's 5.
My question is specifically, Tiff, you think the majority of women fell into feminism by what August was saying?
I don't want to say that because I think there are a lot of black women that we saw abuse. We saw it, and you saw it within your family. And is it majority? Was it enough to the point to where You understood, I don't want to be in this situation. I'm going to get my education. I'm going to get a degree and be able to take care of myself just in case. Because it should have been what we didn't get was it was a just in case. It wasn't the solution. So you go and get your BA, your BS, and your MRS, right? Like you don't.
It didn't work like that, right? What it did was
Right.
now we're further apart.
Exactly. And now I'm saying it's like that we miss the part where you can get your education and still understand that there is a high value in being married, and there's a high value in being an educated wife and mother, that you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. You can be educated, you can be a wife, you can be a mother, and you don't have to forsake being in companionship and having a husband and being all of the other things. But we picked a financial security, and not understanding that yes, you're financially secure, but you are still going to miss out on an irreplaceable thing. You cannot replace marriage. You cannot replace a husband. You can't replace that foundation. That's the irreplaceable.
Real quick, I just want to say this. Y'all got to look up Margaret Sanger. Like Margaret Sanger was a CIA.
I talked about.
You know about it. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So if you understand that there was money put behind this psyop to convince women to destroy the nuclear family. That's what I'm trying to say. So when we talk about the idea, this idea is being implanted in your head to make you think that Black men are overwhelmingly beating their women, and that is just not the case. That's just not true. I believe that psyop has worked very well.
My boy, I believe,
and as a result of that, the women are preparing their daughters not to have to go through that, which further fractures the family.
But listen, the women,
it just does.
Okay, so if you're saying what August is true, the majority of the women, they are preparing their daughters from the women. It didn't even fucking happen. They were never beat. It was a lie. And I don't rule with a strong arm. I like a winning
he don't
woman.
Get to do that. He don't get to do that.
I just did it.
No,
you can't tell me.
You don't get to advocate for what you call discipline. When saying we need to get back to that, and then say that it wasn't happening. You said that it was happening, and that's why we were better. That's what you said. And now you're saying that it wasn't happening overwhelmingly. Like, brother, you're gonna have to pick a struggle.
Wait. First of all,
like, seriously.
Listen, what y'all are trying to depict of discipline is like a dude just coming home on a regular day and beating the fuck out you for no reason. The same way you discipline your kids when they mess up or when something has went to the stream and you to repeat yourself over and over and over, is what I'm talking about. My kids will never tell you I beat them. Will my kids ever tell you I discipline them? Absolutely. Same thing with the wife. They couldn't even come to you and say, hey, he be beating my ass. It's a rare occurrence, because when it's done, you don't have to do it no more. It's not a lot that you don't do it. And if you do it, if that's a chick that need to be disciplined or loved, that's when you cut ties and remove her from the program. I don't advocate for beating women.
You did advocate for it. You said we need to go back there, brother.
Discipline is not beating women.
You said smack them. You literally used the word smack them up.
I'm not listen. So if I whoop my kids because they got in trouble, is that a beating?
Your wife is a child?
And she's under my program. She's financially taken for like a child. She's under my roof like a child. I take care of her like a child. I'm a protector with my life like a child. Why not? Why not?
There it is. I mean, it's it's really a mute point at this point. I think he has his perspective. That's what he believes. God bless his family and his wife, but like we ain't going. We ain't going. I would say if the vetting process and the communication, all that needs to happen. August said it a long time ago. These things need to happen before you walk down the aisle. You need to know what you're dealing with. These people are not, we are not, like so covert that you can't figure it out before you make the commitment.
Listen,
and that's just what needs to be. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
You got it, man. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And that's why we can't.
Go ahead.
Because they are not going. and it's detrimental to your life. Because if I hear noise in the house and I tell you, hey, lock the door, I don't want my wife to say why. Because that's a life and death matter. I need you to be 100% on the program, and you telling me you ain't going.
And you need
I
to hit
can't protect you. I can't give you provision if you're not under my umbrella, if you're not with the program.
So
that's
you need
gonna show
to
up
hit
early
her.
though, bro.
You need
That's
to
gonna
hit
show
her
way
for her to
early.
be under your program.
It's not, bro. Like, what if she become defiant? And most women become defiant after y'all get together. You never see that side of her.
Man, I don't think so, man. I don't think so, man. You got to battle test them, and I think that just like DJ Hamp was saying a little earlier, they got to believe in you. I think that same thing with my sons. I don't never whoop them, but I know that if they fuck up, they're gonna have to work out with me, and that's the one thing that they don't want to do. They work out on their own, don't get me wrong, but my sons operate in a level of independence that I
is a form
in
of
them
what,
because
August? That's a form of what?
that's a form of punishment. I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
That's a form of discipline. I understand what you're saying, but I think that it shows up differently when they respect you. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea of disappointing you is the form of discipline. Like my son know that the one thing he don't want to have is me. The same thing with my wife. My wife do not want to disappoint me. My disappointment look.
But it's not discipline. You got to know that disappointing me and getting this right is two different things. My daughter will cry because I'm disappointed in her, but she still have to get this ass whooping to know the severity of what it is that she's done. Crying or being disappointed isn't enough. There has to be action.
Yeah, I get you, but I don't think it's corporal punishment like that, like batting the fuck out of him.
I'm not with that neither.
I don't know.
It's a program.
I don't know. I try to consider things, right? Now, obviously, you guys know this, right? We've explained it previously. In the Quran, they have a system to discipline in their households. It's that we don't have that biblically. It doesn't state that, right? So that's not something we lean towards or condone. But I think about stuff like, what if there was you guys ever seen The Purge?
Absolutely.
What if there was one day a year, where you could beat the shit out of somebody and not get prosecuted for it? Anybody, Tiff, listen to what I'm saying. Any person, not women. So like let's say I work with somebody, right? And on December 6th, you could whoop a nigga ass day. Right? And this, I'm asking, seriously, would people's conduct change the closer you get to December 6th?
Drastically. You're right. December 6th, I'm gonna fuck you up. You just wait till December 6th.
I'm asking, like, just in a hypothetical, right? Would people's conduct change the closer you get to December 6th? Which I think.
Absolutely. And December 7th, you probably
gonna
never have another problem again.
But everybody gonna be December 5th, they're gonna be the nicest motherfuckers on the panel. Everybody gonna be kumbaya and getting along, especially to the nigga that's gonna come whoop your ass.
And on December 7th, you probably have another problem again. You probably won't even have to do December 6th no more. Because guess what? Action happened, and we know at this time I'm gonna have to pay for it. So just let me not.
I'm not disagreeing the fact of capital punishment to a degree would fix the issue currently. But I think that what you're not looking at is the long-term effects of how that's going to happen. Yes, It is going to be what it is right now, where they're going to act right today. But we're going to have another feminist movement on our hands, which is going to be even more drastically worse, that we're going to have to fight later on down the line. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we're looking at it. Because I just look like, so I don't think, so here's another thing, right? We got to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging on. I don't think men are more accountable than women. I think that we're held to account more drastically, right? I think if you remove laws and you move the different type of prosecution, motherfuckers would be running amok. You couldn't tell the difference between men and women if it was a silhouette and she was flat chested.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like so consequences really change people's disposition. Just for everyone, right? So that's why we have a perception like when men are more accountable. The truth is we just prosecute it more harshly. So there's a perception of it. So I'm just looking at consequences there or not being there. What's the conduct of anyone? You know, it is interesting. But if you gotta, and he not saying this, right? He didn't say do her dirty, but that ain't somebody you should be with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, December 6th, my birthday, Rainbow Kid. But I just picked a date out of thin air.
If you want people to beat people up on your birthday,
No, I'm saying
You want a person?
it's
He
a
picked the person's
hypothetical.
birthday.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know if y'all really listened all the way through to what I was saying, but I hope y'all
I
did.
heard you. No, I
He
heard you.
did.
Yeah,
Loud and clear
and I
now. Loud and
get
clear.
what you said. Loud and clear, and I get it, and I understand consequences of bad behavior, and are there different things that need to be maybe addressed or things that could be different? Absolutely, but I just the physical
Here's how I can summary this with 2K. There's a lot of conduct that if it was two men having that conversation, it would escalate into physical violence. And we see that their level of manipulation, and I hope that from what I see anecdotally, it's the minority of women, but they leverage that it won't escalate past the argument. Bitch ass nigga, right? Where a man can't call me a bitch ass nigga. He just can't without it escalating physically. But there is no expectation, and therefore the disrespect seem to be pushed further at times. And I hope it's the minority of women that do that manipulate that fact. You see?
Me too.
Yeah,
I do too.
So just thinking about the whole thing,
and I think a lot of times we be operating on grace because there are some dudes, because I ain't gonna say the N word, just some dudes that just don't care, like who you talking to, and you put yourself in that position, you bucked up, now you can get fucked up. So a lot of times you just don't know who you're gonna run up on. You have to be, careful with that and mindful with that. So again, I get what you're saying. I hear you 100%.
Well, but the truth is too, right, Tiff? That's not. 100. What you said, buck up, whatever that country shit you just said was.
Buck up,
Right.
you're gonna get fucked
But
up.
also, here's the truth, though. That's not even the response the majority of the time either. Right.
What do you mean? Oh, for
Like,
dudes? Yeah, no, y'all give us a lot of grace.
yeah, and I mean, because we know what we weaker vessels are, right? We don't, and nobody trying to pick on nobody, But really, what is being called to attention is like, hey, the conduct,
Right.
right? Because if you notice, inflammatory language is working less and less.
Yeah.
Now, like I think somebody said 2K was accurate. No, men don't care about that shit. Like you saying a thing to try to provoke us to. No, it's just a conversation about a concept, right? and what it really unveils is how do we treat each other,
Mm.
And we just got to assess that, in its entirety. We've been taught to write papers in hyperbole with those first two sentences.
Mm.
And then people are like, what the fuck is this? And then you write the paper to explain what the paper's about,
Right.
But listen, protect black women, bro. I don't. Even if a woman was to come swing on me, my next action would not be to hit her or hit her back. Listen, when you discipline it, it's coming up from a place of love, and it's not a long, extensive, drawn out thing. Might be a little tap. I'm not with abusing women by no stretch of the imagination. I just want to get you straightened up, let you know that there is a consequence behind an action. That is it. That is all.
Yeah.